Hello everyone! You'll definitely want to skip traveling to one of these places when planning your next vacation. Even if someone you know has told you good things about it, it's probably just from the radiation. That's right, the following areas you never want to visit unless you have a death wish, because they're truly dangerous, even years, often decades after their disasters. 8 most radioactive places on Earth. Sellafield, United Kingdom. It says something for how Britain's nuclear establishment worked from the start, that when Windscale No. 1 pile caught fire in October 1957, it was hushed up so well that even with 11 tons of uranium ablaze for 3 days, the reactor close to collapse, and radioactive material spreading across the Lake District, the people who worked there were expected to keep quiet and carry on making plutonium for the bomb. This was Britain's worst ever nuclear accident, but no one was evacuated. No iodine pills were distributed. Work went on, and most people were not even told about the fire. Mediterranean Sea. For decades, the Italian mafia was accused of dumping hazardous waste into the Mediterranean Sea. Over 40 ships carrying loads of radioactive materials have gone missing since 1994, so you can expect to see a disastrous fallout sooner rather than later. And here we were thinking the mafia only really existed in Hollywood movies, but here they're dumping hazardous materials into one of the most beautiful oceans in the world. Definitely don't go swimming here. Polygon in Kazakhstan. The beautiful place hides an ugly history. The older people here grew up watching huge clouds mushroom in the sky overhead. Man-made earthquakes regularly shook the ground under their feet. Over 4 decades on the barren steppes of Kazakhstan, deep in Central Asia, the Soviets detonated over 450 nuclear weapons. The last nuclear explosion here was 1989. Today, 28 years later, villagers are still suffering the consequences of heavy radiation. Chemical Combine, Russia. Despite looking like a winter wonderland, this place is actually a nuclear hell. With over 4 decades of radioactive waste, about 125,000 tons uncovered and easily spreadable by wind and weather, it seems like it's only going to get worse. One place you never want to visit even if you're into a bit of danger. This wonderland shouldn't have people visiting, at least for another decade or 2 anyway. What do you think? Would you risk traveling here to see and feel the history? Mimik Russia. If you're looking for a lakeside retreat on a budget, it's likely you could easily pick up a villa near to Russia's beautiful Lake Karaki and still have change left for a new sofa. It's probably worth bearing in mind that in 1990, just standing on the shore for an hour would give you a radiation dose of 600 Roentgen. In case you were wondering, that's more than enough to kill you. The lake, in Russia's southwest Chelyabinsk region, close to the modern border with Kazakhstan, is located within the Mimik Production Association, one of the country's largest and leakiest nuclear facilities. Hanford Site, America. The Hanford Site is a mostly decommissioned nuclear production complex operated by the United States federal government on the Columbia River in the U.S. state of Washington. Established in 1943 as part of the Manhattan Project in Hanford, south-central Washington, the site was home to the B reactor, the first full-scale plutonium production reactor in the world. Plutonium manufactured at the site was used in the first nuclear bomb, tested at the Trinity site, and in FATMAT, the bomb detonated over Nagasaki, Japan. Many early safety procedures and waste disposal practices were inadequate, and government documents have confirmed that Hanford's operations released significant amounts of radioactive materials into the air and the Columbia River. Chernobyl, Ukraine. On April 26, 1986, technicians conducting a test inadvertently caused reactor number 4 to explode. Several hundred staff and firefighters then tackled a blaze that burned for 10 days and sent a plume of radiation around the world in the worst ever civil nuclear disaster. More than 50 reactor and emergency workers were killed at the time. Authorities evacuated 120,000 people from the area, including 43,000 from the city of Pripyat. Reuters reports that a huge, recently completed enclosure called the New Safe Confinement, the world's largest land-based moving structure, will be pulled slowly over the site later this year to create a steel-clad casement to block radiation and allow the remains of the reactor to be dismantled safely. Fukushima, Japan. The Great East Earthquake occurred at 2:46 p.m. on March 11th, recording a magnitude 9.0, giving tremendous damage to the northern part of Japan. especially in the prefectures of Fukushima, Miyagi, and Iwate. The earthquake and tsunami triggered the worst nuclear accident since Chernobyl. The Fukushima nuclear power station, located in the Pacific Ocean coast, received huge damage by the earthquake and tsunami. It is said this amount is about 20% of the Chernobyl accident. On April 12, 2011, Nuclear and Industrial Safety Agency raised the rate of the accident from a level 5 to a level 7, the same level as Chernobyl. Would you visit any of these places knowing what you know? Tell in the comments. Thanks for watching and have a great day.